Hi.
Hi, Berto.
Hey,
Hey, brother.
how are you? Man, I was telling you to pick the other button. Told you.
Well, they can't always do it the way you want it to. Ask
I
me how I
mean,
know.
so,
I just had a kitten trying to jump in our garbage can.
oh dear God. There goes 9 lives there.
Right, right. I mean, we just got him Friday,
Uh-oh.
so sweet as can be, sweet as can be. So
Awesome.
there's Hippo. Hi, Hippo.
So,
Anyways, guys, welcome to Rockin' the Ring with Metal Mike. Well,
yay.
glad
Thanks for having
to
us.
have you finally. We've talked about this for months since even before I even came on the air. You were one of the first I invited.
Thanks. Thanks for having us.
No problem, no problem. I appreciate you coming and joining me. Well, anyways, Rockin' the Ring is a show introducing yourself to the fans as they know you as Berto. I know you as Berto and Roberto, or the Mexicutioner from past lives.
Wow.
Talking about 9 lives.
All right. Every time I hear that every once in a while, it's like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've been following you since, what, 2012, somewhere in that neighborhood?
Yeah.
So, so it's not like we've known each other for a good little while.
Yes, sir. We have.
It's hard to believe that when I think about, I mean, I was going to OVW starting in 2001. So,
Mhm.
so I was going weekly when they had John Cena, Brock Lesnar,
Yes.
your trainer, Eugene, or Nick Dinsmore.
Yes, sir.
So, anyways, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what got you to start wrestling, and I know, and we'll go into a little bit more about. There's some stuff will amaze people when they find out. So,
Oh,
floor
man.
is
Well,
yours.
my name is Roberto, but I go by Berto. So it's easy to remember even when I'm in the ring because you'll catch my attention by Berto because that's what I basically go by. Born and raised in Hammond, Indiana. Moved out of Hammond in 2000 to uh, go to the Pipe Fitters Union School in Indianapolis. And then from there, I stayed there until 2012. And from 2012, I finally made the move to Kentucky and pursue my childhood dream.
So,
And what got me into wrestling, uh, I know then when I would tell the story, people would be like, "Oh man," but now when you hear his name, it's like boo. But I'm not gonna lie, it was a match between the Iron Sheik and Hulk Hogan for the WWF title,
I was gonna
and it
say
was.
you're dating yourself now.
I know, right? But when I saw it though, I didn't understand it because I was 5 years old, 6 years old. I just thought, oh my God, look at these guys just going at it, and then the celebration afterwards with Mean Gene Okerlund interviewing Hulk Hogan with Captain Lou Albano, and then Andre the Giant came in and poured the champagne. I was like, man, this is awesome. And then next thing you know, I started watching wrestling on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. And then back then, as far as territories, I watched AWA with Vern Gagne. And yeah, that's when I started liking wrestling. And man, it just stuck in my head that this is something that I wanted to do. So, you know, fast forward to today, it still kind of baffles me that I'm actually doing it.
And you're doing great. I mean, we've talked privately that you are, to me, the story you've had over the last 2.5 years. It beats the story that everybody raves about, the Cody Rhodes story that's now been squashed since then. But your story's still going with the same people, with a new
Mm-hmm.
twist. You know.
Yep.
So, anyways, so once you got to wrestling, you went to OVW, and like I said, your trainer was Nick Eugene Dinsmore,
Yep.
who I've known for 20 plus years myself,
Great guy.
and that is somebody to me. Nothing against the Eugene character, but Nick, I've watched Nick have 5-star matches with some of the greats before he was up in WWF.
Mm.
So you've got to me, the cream of the crop of a trainer at that point.
Oh yeah, he was
And now you're sitting on.
match too.
What's that?
He was my first match too.
Yeah. So going back to that starts the things that'll blow people's mind, in my opinion, because it boggled my mind when I thought about it. Let's go back. You told Nick a story at that right before that match happened that would have derailed many, many men or women before they stepped in that ring. Go for it. Let the fans know what happened at that point.
Well, when I started wrestling, like I said, I moved on from Indianapolis to Kentucky, and I started training, and I was already having problems with my leg, and the doctor already told me that growing up I was going to have it pretty hard with arthritis, because I was diagnosed with osteoporosis at a young age, in my late 20s, early 30s. So I started developing bone spurts and cracks in my hip, and I was 5 weeks in, and he started seeing me limping, and I just played it off, as like I pulled something, So what I would do, I would wrap my leg, so tight so that it would stay in the socket, so it wouldn't slip, because it would be painful that way. And then finally, my my ex-fiance now, at the time, cared and told him what was going on, and I didn't want to sit on the sidelines, and I wanted to push through, and I did. And then we had our match and putting together the match. We were going to discuss, as far as what we were going to, concentrate on as far as the heat. And I'm like, well, my leg's already gone. Let's just focus on that. I'm gonna get a new one here soon. So we had our match, and that was on a Sunday. And then that following Wednesday, I had a total hip replacement surgery. And then 6 days from that Wednesday, OVW had a show in Shepherdsville, Kentucky. And I showed up with the cane, still wanting to help. And they still put me to work. I collected tickets and money at the door. And from that point on, people were just like, wow, I love this. And since then, I've had other surgeries as well, but I still keep coming back.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it boggles my mind to when I've talked to you and other people have talked to you, and I've been around, and you're talking, oh, I've had this, and it's like, to me, you're the $6 million man, or the Energizer Bunny, whichever you want to look at, because you keep going and going and going, regardless of what's put in front of you that might, like I said, derail others even completely. It's like, nope, I've had enough. I can't do this anymore. And you're still going strong. Older, and I mean, I'm older than you, but to be as old as you are, doing what you're out there doing, the flips, the flops, the Ric Flair little flops that we see even in the ring, uh, the rolling, I don't know. I mean, you're rolling and then you hit them with the back of your head. I mean,
yes,
and laying on that hard ring. Everybody thinks that ring's so soft. It's not. Let me tell you, as a fan that's been in the ring. No, it's not. It's not a trampoline.
no, I don't know where they get that concept, because it's nowhere near.
Yeah, and that's what they. I mean, they always tell you not to, the big F word. No, it's not. It's let me tell you, sitting in the front ring and having a guy break his ankle right in front of you is not something everybody wants to see.
No, I've seen.
And that's as a fan. And I know you guys. I mean, you've probably seen a few injuries through the years that's just ring related.
Yeah, and
And then like that.
it's crazy. I mean, they don't even think about it, and it's the littlest thing. You would think it's caused or from a big move, and sometimes, yeah, but it could be just the littlest thing that you don't even pay attention to.
Yeah, for sure. So going back to so you were at OVW for what, 8 years, give or take?
From 2011, late 2010, early 2011 to 2019. 2020.
So that's about right then. Yeah. So, and you went through many different characters there.
Yeah.
And looking back, I mean, and like I said, I've followed you pretty much through that. So, who were some of your favorite opponents at OVW and favorite matches?
My favorite opponent, well, obviously Nick Densmore. I mean, that takes the cake. I had the loser leaves town with Randy Perez, who was one of my tag team partners. We were called Terramex back in the day.
That's funny,
right? And we won the Ohio Valley Southern Tag Team Champions. You know, so when people look up, you know, the belt history, I'm on there 4 times.
man.
But
that title, to me, that's the OVW titles are some of the lineage in those. Nobody realizes what's there until they look.
I know, right? Like when I first saw the list, I was just like, "Oh my god!" You know, just all the other names before, you know, before me. I was like, "Wow, this has a lot of history." You know, just you can just feel the energy from it, and it's just like, you know, you got to take a deep breath because of all the history.
Yeah, I mean, you walk in that arena, the Davis Arena, and you see the different people that has came through the years. Like I said, I was there in 2001 when Randy Orton and John Cena, who just had a match at Backlash, were there and had their first matches. You know, and it's like to see them now headlining pay-per-views even 25 years later, almost. I mean, that's a good career, you know, and wrestlers go, and there's wrestlers like Ric Flair went almost 40, almost 50 years. I'm like, I just can't imagine putting my body through some of the stuff they've went through for that long.
A lot of stretching,
All right.
You know, and as a tag team, because I was more known for being being in tag teams, but singles was with Randy Perez. But one feud that sticks out was with Ali Baez and Michael Hayes. They taught me a lot, you know, and also with Chris Sharp as a referee being there, he taught me a lot as well. I tagged with Dylan Bostic, and we had a fun match with Big Marcus and Rob Terry.
Oh, and, man.
Yeah, let's just say now I know how it feels just to be tossed around like, oh dear God. But it was fun.
You know, Jack was Rob.
And then, but I mean, those are some that just stick out. But I mean, it was a good time. It really was. It really was a good time at OVW. Yeah. You know, people made a lot of connections, you know. But then, like I said, in 2019, 2020, you know, I asked for Al's blessings, and I was able to, you know, walk out and see what the independent scene had to offer.
Now you're across the bridge with Grindhouse Pro Wrestling Academy with Ronnie Roberts and Too Tough Tony.
Yes. Great guys.
And so, what led you there? I mean, was it because it was local, or was it just you knew those two were a network, had something that was special?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I know it's going to sound crazy, but when I left, you know, like I said, I was still with the Executioner and whatnot. I was talking to Man Beast at the time, who was one half of the Mobile Homers.
Right.
And he was having a tag match in Cincinnati against Outrunners, who are now on AEW. And his tag partner, Adam Revolver, couldn't do it because he had ties with OVW. But he wanted to do a Mobile Homo gimmick. And I'm like, all right, well, what do you want me to do? He's like, well, be my cousin. But you're my slow cousin, but you're big and strong. And I'm like, okay. And really, talking with Man Beast, Ted McNaylor, I mean, I got to give him a lot of the props because he's the one that basically helped me mold this Berto and Hippo character, you know, because talked about with the overalls and then and then about, maybe I should have an animal. And at that time, NCIS was on there with Abby and, her with the hippo. So I'm like, yeah, let me get a hippo. Yeah, I'll use a hippo. And so we had the match in Cincinnati. And for some reason, I just felt like I stumbled upon something that made more sense to me than ever before with wrestling, with all the other, the Mexicutioner, or Coach DeLuna, with all, with them characters. And then just slowly but surely, it just started to evolve to what has now become Berto and Hippo. And it took me a while, but after that match, I just felt like, I had something more to offer in the wrestling ring than just being in production, because when I left OVW, I was more behind the scenes doing a production and working with the cameras.
Well, that teaches you the other side of the camera. That way you know how those guys and gals are dealing with things they come across in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
They got to be sharp on their feet, And, well, Billy and Ashlyn running around with Dex blocks at Grindhouse. Yeah. You seen them two running around like, okay. I can't even do that. As me being next, like, with my body the way it is, it's like, no, not today.
Now they even tell me every time they know that I'm coming up for a match, they're like, we got to be ready, because every match I'm always running around in the beginning, and they're like, God, it's like it's so hard to keep up with you, and I'm like, well, it's that energy, I'm a big kid, I got to keep going.
All right, well, so we were talking about back to Grindhouse. You started off pretty slow over there, not character-wise, but as a program, the fans to get behind you. And then all of a sudden, you're thrown in the storyline with the champ at the time, Clayton Cannon, as his BFF.
Yes.
So where did that?
And like I said,
but I understand that was supposed to be in short term, and now, like I said, we're almost 2.5 years later, and you're still involved in a storyline with Clayton.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a 3-month, not even a story. I was just to be an opponent just fed to the champion, Clayton Cannon. I was just supposed to be a fill-in. That's it. I came there just, like I said, at a late age, and I just wanted to wrestle. Wasn't looking for anything, as far as belts or spots. I just wanted to, find what I could find, and see what that niche was that I just discovered. That's all I wanted to do, was just play and have fun. And then, like you said, just the work that we put in, and it just stuck out. And yeah, 3 months turned into now going into 2.5 years.
That's just any storyline that goes that long in any promotion. I mean, you see promotion, the big promotions, AEW, WWE, NXT, TNA. Their storylines don't last more than 3 or 4 months. They run big show to big show, and that's it. If you're lucky, sometimes not even one for a month.
Mm. Yeah, this one we've been very, very fortunate. I mean, I have to thank Ronnie Roberts and Too Tough Tony for taking a chance at us, and letting us have some control over this. Clayton Cannon, I mean, great guy, great. I mean, out of everybody that I've wrestled, I can honestly say that he's probably one of my favorites. I just the chemistry. I mean, it's always been there. I mean, we really don't need to talk. We just go out there and just know what we got to put out there for the fans. As far as with the emotions, and we don't even worry about the wrestling. And oh my God, that just means so much. And I think that's why we've gotten so far, because of the emotions that we put out there.
For sure. I mean, I mean, sitting there watching facial expressions and body language, and like going back to Executioner momentarily. When you show your mad streak with Clayton, I see the Executioner written all over that face.
Some people told me, they're like, man, all you're missing is just a black singlet and some paint. And I'm like, yeah.
It was like when Triple H and Mick Foley, when Foley came out as Cactus Jack, that same type of expression. That's my
Oh,
opinion, anyways. That's what it reminds me of. It's like, okay, I screwed up.
and don't get me wrong, I still got the stuff, from then, open the drawers and I look at it, but, what I tell people, man, if you would have told me back in 2011 that in the future you're going to have so much more fun and so much more success, being a kid, wrestling around with a hippo, I would have told you you're crazy,
Yeah. All right. Well, talking about dreams come true, you're now wrestling in Mexico. We could say you're
Right?
almost a world traveler.
Man,
So let's talk about how that came to be, because that was probably something out of the blue that you didn't expect. I would have thought.
no, it really did come out of the blue, and all just because of a nice gesture that somebody remembered. That's basic. That's it. What happened was the backstory was Corey Calhoun, who is the Gen X champion at this time. Great guy, love him to death. I mean, I can go on about him, but he was going to Mexico for DTU, which is a big promotion down in Mexico, with another individual, but his paperwork didn't go through at that time, or wasn't altogether, and for some reason he missed the deadline, and then my name was brought up, and they told me that they unanimously decided to take me instead. And once I was given the call, I already had my passport, because just again, when I found this Berto and Hippo, I went and got my passport right there and then. I felt that confident, and next thing you know, this opportunity came out of nowhere, and I had a passport ready to go, and it was like, yeah, let's do this. And then when I met him, we BS'd for a little bit, and I never did know why. And I asked him, and he told me when he first started and was invited to OVW, that nobody really came to him, because obviously he's a new guy, and like I said, I don't remember, and I was one of the first ones, if not the first one, to just to show him that I care, that that we care, and just try to help him in every way I could, and he said that just stuck out ever since then. And I'm like, wow, that was almost 8 years ago, but he said that just stuck out.
Yeah, because he was at OVW for just over, I think, about a year and a half, 2 years max, for a little while there. He did a little bit of something there with, I think, their Rush title at the time was what it was called, and it's changed names a couple different times since then. And I think he was one of the first title holders for that, and he had some awesome matches over there. So
Yes, he did. And
I remember one.
the whole how I came across starting to go to Mexico was just for being nice.
Well, we need friends like that sometimes, that are supportive, that are say, hey, I know a guy or I know a girl that can work, that give that recommendation. I mean, we see it in life with a job sometimes. It's good to have somebody that can say, hey, I do trust this person.
And like I said, I didn't even know him from, Mole and Curly. I just introduced myself and just showed him around, and like I still tell the kids now, if I don't know the answer, I'll try to find somebody that does, and yeah, it was just me. And he said it just stuck out. And I was, like I said, I got teary eyed. I was like, holy cow, wow, that's pretty impactful.
Yeah. And then within a matter of months, you held one of their titles for the company.
Yeah, after a year, I held their Intercontinental belt, and right now I hold a Continental belt. It's like the third from the heavyweight championship, and I'm holding that currently right now.
So you've made an impact, not to use the term impact in wrestling, but you've went down there and showed them, hey, I'm here to make it. I'm here to do what I got to do.
Oh, it was nerve wracking. I'll be honest with you. I mean, you're talking about, Southern Memphis style type wrestler going down to nothing but lucha.
Right.
But this promotion is one of the very, very few that, since it opened, is also teaching the Western style of wrestling. They're very diverse, and not many schools in Mexico are like that. So when I went down there, they already were aware of the left side, so it wasn't really that difficult. A couple times there were a couple, mistakes, but we fixed them when we did, but not very many. So they were already aware of that style of wrestling, but not so much of the philosophy behind it, and the timing, because everything down there is so fast paced. But yeah, when I met the promoter, he literally just told me, this will either make you or break you. Go out there and have fun. So I'm like, okay, and yeah, I started out speaking English, and next thing you know, I take a sip of a beer and I start speaking Spanish, and the crowd was like, "What the hell just happened?" And ever since then, I've just been one that they've always continued to invite.
Yeah, and they took love to Hippo. I mean, they said, and that's something unusual.
It it is like when I went down there for my first trip, and like I said, it was with DTU, and we were doing a fair show with members from the AAA wrestling division, and El Hijo de Vikingo was there, and at that time, he was the AAA champion,
Yeah.
and I introduced myself and everything, and of course he's the main event, but he watched my match, and at the end of the show, he loved Hippo, and we took a picture, and he came up with the idea of me holding the belt because he wanted to hold Hippo, and I'm thinking, I mean, he's a little shorter than you. I'm sure he could hold him, but yeah, this is going to be awesome. So we took the picture, and I'm like, I'll be damned, he hold if he can go,
I want to see that picture.
Oh yeah, I'll show it to you. I'll send it to you. But yeah, I was like, wow, and he was a great guy. I mean, so down to earth,
And he's a legend in Mexico.
I mean, one of my friends, Amy Galena, I think you know her.
Yeah.
Or not Amy, I'm sorry, Tanya.
I was going to say Tanya, yeah.
Whatchamacallit, she was watching my dogs at the time, and I told him about it so that I could come to Mexico, and he made a personal video just to thank her for watching my dogs. I'm like, he didn't have to do it, but he did. He's like, yeah, I'll do it for you. So you came here, that's why. I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome. I mean, like I said, he's a legend in Mexico, you know?
And this is now my 9th trip
Man,
down, and Dojo is my second family, my home away from home. Great people. I mean, all around. I mean, and the way they take the wrestling down there is so serious. It's nothing that I've ever seen, and it's like as soon as we land, they'll take us to the to the Airbnb. We get freshened up. All right, let's go practice. All right, let's go.
Keeping you on your toes.
Oh, yeah, and like I said, I'm looking forward to this trip. I'm going back May 22nd, a week from tomorrow, and this will be probably it is the biggest event that I've ever wrestled in. It's going to be held in a bullfighting arena, and it's already going at 4,000 tickets.
Only 4,000.
and a big show dedicated to the battle for cancer, children cancer.
Got that on Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a good show. Oh, I can't wait.
So you got a big week coming up next week.
Oh yeah, then after that I go to the following weekend I go to Chicago, and then weekend after that I'm at Indiana Beach for a show.
Back home almost.
Yes, yes, and then I'll be back at Grindhouse the fourth Sunday in June.
Yeah. I'm not sure that date either. Right off the top of my head, I got it wrote down somewhere because I've got a busy for both wrestling and my music. I've got a music page too that I run, and got a bunch of stuff I got planned with that coming up in the next couple of weeks. Like every weekend this month is booked, which is good. That's what I want to enjoy it. You know, I want to enjoy my concerts. I want to enjoy my wrestling. I mean, everybody's
Yes,
like you're in your 50s. What are you doing? You're not young and spritzy. I'm like, well, I got to have something to do to pass the time that I didn't get to do when I was raising kids.
there you go.
And I mean, now I've got my daughters coming to Grindhouse with me, which I would have never thought possible. Who's some of your biggest fans? I mean, that's like I said, that's the thing with Grindhouse. It's a family friendly show. And you might
Yes,
hear one curse word in 4 hours of show.
yeah, and it's not something like real bad, but but for the most part, it's rated G. If you guys don't have anything to do on a Sunday afternoon, doors open at 2, showtimes at 3. We're located off of 10th Street. Good times, I promise you, good times.
Right, and like I said, you had some great stories telling yourselves. We got some other great guys in the undercard that are unbelievable. And like last show, I had 3 guys that just got acquainted to the Grindhouse family, but the family is welcome with open arms. Going back to, I've heard rumblings. I'm not asking you to spoil anything, but there's a future of Berto and Hippo. I've heard that are them still in the plans, or
Is there a future in Berto and Hippo?
yeah, as outside of wrestling. I've heard rumblings of that, but I want to just confirmation or non-confirmation. You don't have to really discuss any of that if you don't.
No, I mean, doesn't have. I mean, there's been talks, of what I'm going to do once, once I hang up my boots, and I'm not going to be completely out of wrestling. I mean, maybe in ring work, yeah, but I still got a few more years. But I've, like I said, when I dabbled with production when I was in OVW, that has opened my eyes to the realization that the more that you know within the business, the more valuable you become. And like I said, I would like to train. People have told me, like for training, that as far as with character, that might be something I would like to dabble in. But I'm not going to be completely gone from wrestling. But like I said, I'll be doing something.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get ready to close up for the evening. I do appreciate you stopping and visiting with me. Tell people where they can find you online.
Oh, well, I have on Facebook, I have the Berto and Hippo page. And then on Twitter, I have it's Mexicutioner Rob. I can't change it. I wish I knew how. But it's Mexicutioner Rob without the O at the end. And then Berto and Hippo on Instagram. And then I got Berto and Hippo on YouTube with matches and some great promos. I mean, it'll make you chuckle. But yeah, I'm at Grindhouse for the most part. It's the fourth Sunday of every month. Great group of kids there. I highly suggest that if you've never been to a show, that you come. If you have kids, they will have a great time. And I just want to say thank you for letting me do what I do. And always remember, anything and everything is possible when you believe. And always try to stick out. That's all. That's all what it is.
Well, one last thing.
Yes, sir.
Berto Losso's in a book. from John Cosper.
Yeah.
And so am I. We are Grindhouse. You want to know more about a little bit more about what's going on at Grindhouse? Check out the book. It's a great book. Tells a lot about, follows everybody for a year. It's a great book.
He's
We love
starting
John. We love John. John's great.
Yeah. Yes. John Costa grabbed the book. I haven't read it yet because I've been busy, but I do have my copy, and I've heard a lot of good things about it, and I'm looking forward to reading it. Like I said, I got this weekend free. I wouldn't mind just sitting down with Hippo and my dog Russell and just relaxing.
And talk about your dog Russell. Did you ever find your wheelchair for him?
I did. I ended up finding a wheelchair for him. I'm a huge animal lover. If nobody knows that by now, and I got my service dog. He's in his late teens now, and his back legs are starting to get weak, and he's not in any pain, so it's not like I'm prolonging his suffering. He's not. I've taken him to the doctor, so it's just he's already starting to develop weakness in his legs, and I'm just trying to stay ahead of his pain. So I got him some wheels, and
Awesome.
yeah, I love him.
I've got a grand dog, a grand cat, grandcats outside the household. I've got them in the household. Got grand birds.
Oh yeah, I got
grandkids.
He's a handful, but
yeah.
I just think he's misunderstood.
All right, well, Berto, it's been a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
We'll catch up again sometime soon.
Yeah, let's do this again. I'm always up for one, man.
Well, anyways, this is Rental Mike with Rockin the Ring. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok.
There
so these videos will be downloaded and uploaded to YouTube and then posted on TikTok as well. Just be following Instagram for teasers, funny videos that are short because they don't allow videos over a half hour. So, but next week, not next week, 2 weeks from now, we hope to have another gentleman that Berto's kind of friendly with right now. So be watching for those teasers coming soon. Thanks, guys. Have a great evening, and we'll seeing you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye. See y'all.